Before we begin, while this player is a religious person, I know all religious people aren't like this. Anyway, I've been playing TPRPGs on and off for the past few years, but found myself dry after leaving a long-time group of friends. So I went to the most reputable place possible to find a game. Request for online TTRPGs in nerd shops. One Discord invite later, I was in the server meeting the cast. DM. The DM of our party, actually an absolutely excellent person with a few flaws that made this story horrific. Fundy. The problem player, a very religious person who enjoys passionate sermons. A few other players are present, but they didn't contribute to the story in any major way. We get to the character creation, and I decide to pull out my usual character. A paladin who broke her oath because she was tired of being strict and holy. She was constantly a bit jaded, foul-mouthed, and sat at a 45-degree angle in her seat, being generous. Fundy played a cleric of the F it. I'm going to call it God, because it definitely was meant to be. He had Christian tenets, he often spoke Bible verses, so on and so forth. Session 0 went pretty well, and afterwards Fundy messaged me. He wanted our characters to have a backstory together. Basically, he wanted the church I left to be his, and he was trying to lead me back to the Lord. I agreed because I thought it'd be fun RP stuff, and I had no intention to have my character return to God. Agreeing was a bad idea. Now, I am not going to say you should never put something you're passionate about into your character. It can be done, and it can be a whole lot of fun. But you've got to be ready for some pushback, which is why it's usually a good idea to keep things like religion, politics, or pineapple on pizza above the table, or better yet, away from the table. People have their opinions in these areas, and nothing you say is going to change those opinions. It's never going to end well. Unless, of course, you're talking about sharing the Eternall Newbie videos with your game group. That always ends well. Most downtime was spent with Fundy trying to convince my character to abandon her sinful ways and return to his loving embrace. My character, being a bit of an abrasive prick, would tell him to shove off, or if he's so loving, why is the world so effed up? Every time I did this, I heard an exasperated breath from his microphone. Eventually, another player messaged me. She liked how our characters interacted and wondered if we could begin an in-game relationship. I agreed, and this went pretty well. Her character started to draw mine out of her edgy, brooding shell, and the two of them shared some pretty adorable moments. Fundy did not like this. His character's long tirades now mentioned her as well. He said things like, "You don't want to drag her down the path as well," and "Women should not lie with one another. You need a man of the cloth, not another woman." My character would try to intimidate him to F off at that. After the session, I messaged the DM to say that Fundy's rhetoric was making me uncomfortable. The DM said that Fundy wasn't like that in real life. He was just playing his character. Eventually, Fundy posted some art of our characters. AI generated art at that. My character was depicted as a blonde girl with pale skin and gorgeous plate armor. Now, dear readers, my paladin was black, with dark brown hair, and studded leather armor. When I brought this up to him, he said, "Well, this is what I imagine her to look like, but whatever you say." I was a bit perturbed at this, and messaged the DM again. He said something along the lines of, "I can't change what already exists, but I'll talk to Fundy." I don't know if he did. I can't change what already exists? Of course you can, you're the DM. Besides, isn't that exactly what Fundy did? I think we can already see where this is going, and it is not going to end pretty. Even the DM has to know. But I still don't really blame the DM. As OP said, the DM did make some mistakes. But when you sign up to run a game, you're not expecting to have to put some grown-ass people in their place. And this DM sounds very non-confrontational. I used to be like that, so I can understand. Not anymore. If I were that DM and talking to him out of game didn't work, I would have had his god visit him in a dream and tell him to stop being such a dick. Maybe not in those exact words, but then again, maybe. Best case is he backs off. Worst case, it focuses his hate on me and not the other player, and I can kick him. Eventually, things broke down. The PC my character was attached to died, and my character retreated back into her shell. She took it badly, becoming moody and confrontational. Fundy saw this as time to preach to her again, talking about how this was a prime time to repent for my sins and return to my Father, so she may be honored in heaven. My character said, "Go away, or my next sin will be cutting you down." This was just intended as an empty threat, as I'd done these to other PCs and never followed up, even having my character apologize for being a tool later. Fundy did not take it like that. He challenged my character to a duel, saying that if he won, she'd have to return to the Order. Given that this was a kind of bad cleric versus an optimized to hell and back paladin, I absolutely whooped his ass. My character healed him, and I decided to be a bit of an ass, saying, "Maybe if you spent more time learning to fight, you'd be able to convince me." Fundy flipped out, screaming about how I was a cheater, a sinner, a racism, a sexism, a homophobia, and how I should just get some Christian husband to take pity on me. He ended his initial screaming rampage with, "And you're attacking my religion." The DM kept trying to calm him down, but he kept screaming and screaming. Eventually, I left the call. The DM sent me a message later apologizing, saying how he didn't see this coming at all. I told him that he was stupid for not seeing it coming, and I was giving an ultimatum. Either he kicks Fundy, or I'm leaving. The DM agreed he made some mistakes and kicked out Fundy, saying his character died in our duel. Fundy sent me a few private messages later, continuing his berating and use of slurs, demanding I stop being into women and come to God, or I'd be unloved and burn in hell. I called him a bitch and blocked him. So it turns out Fundy wasn't playing a character, but was just being themselves in game. Who could have ever seen that coming? What's that? Oh, everyone in the entire world. Yeah. But enough from me. What do you think? Is there ever a time religion can be injected into a game without causing problems? Let me know with a comment, if that's your desire. If you like this content, how about a sub? The plan is to put out a few videos a week and keep the good times rolling. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, play your character. Don't let your character play you.